Most people enter the world of manifestation because they want to get something. They feel a sense of lack in their 3D reality and look to the law of assumption as a spiritual vending machine that can deliver wealth, health, or romance. While this is a valid entry point, it often keeps the seeker in a state of perpetual wanting. They remain a consumer of spiritual techniques, trying to manipulate the external world through mental effort. This keeps them trapped in a cycle of dependency, where their happiness is tied to whether or not their order has arrived in the physical mail. Spiritual sovereignty is the radical transition from trying to manifest to being the cause. It is the realization that you are not a human being trying to use a law. You are the law itself in human form. This shift moves you beyond the need for specific results and into a state of absolute authority. You stop looking at the world for validation and start looking at yourself as the sole architect of your experience. The things you once chased become natural byproducts of your state of being, rather than prizes to be won through struggle. In this deep-level exploration, we will dismantle the seeker's mindset and reveal the path to the sovereign self. We will explore 11 pillars of this transition, moving from the kindergarten of getting to the masterclass of being. You are about to discover that the ultimate goal of the law is not to change your bank account, but to change your identity. When you become sovereign, the gap between you and your desires vanishes entirely. You are no longer manifesting a life. You are expressing your divinity. The first step toward sovereignty is the realization that no technique has any power of its own. Many seekers become addicted to sats, affirmations, or scripting, believing that the ritual is what creates the result. This is a form of spiritual superstition. It places the power in the action rather than in the consciousness of the actor. The technique is merely a scaffold to help you reach a specific state of feeling. Once that state is reached, the scaffold should be discarded. A sovereign creator knows that they are the power, not the method. When you rely heavily on techniques, you are inadvertently affirming that you are not yet the person who has the desire. You are doing something to get something. Sovereignty requires you to be the person who already has it, which often means doing nothing at all. The master can manifest with a single glance or a silent thought, because they have realized that their awareness is the only reality. They have moved beyond the work of manifestation and into the rest of possession. The technique dies so that the authority can be born. To bridge this gap, you must stop searching for the perfect technique and start investigating your own I am. Ask yourself, who is doing the technique? If it is a person who feels lack, the technique will only manifest more lack. If it is a person who knows their own power, the technique is unnecessary. This chapter of your journey is about stripping away the spiritual crutches you have used to walk. It is about standing on your own 2 feet as the creator of your world, recognizing that your internal yes is the only thing that matters. The state of seeking is fundamentally a state of not having. As long as you identify as a seeker of truth or a seeker of manifestation, the subconscious mind must provide you with a reality of searching. You will always be one step away from the breakthrough, always one book away from the secret, and always one night away from the manifestation. The seeker is a character in a drama of lack to transition to sovereignty. You must be willing to kill the seeker and embrace the finder. Sovereignty is the end of the search. It is the moment you stop looking outside for answers and realize that everything you have been looking for is the one doing the looking. This is a terrifying transition for the ego because the ego thrives on the journey, the drama, and the pursuit. The ego wants to be the hero who overcomes obstacles to get the girl or the gold. The sovereign self, however, knows that there are no obstacles, because there is no one else in the room. There is only the I am and its reflections. By killing the seeker, you collapse the timeline of your life. You are no longer moving toward a goal. You are expanding from a center of fulfillment. This shift in orientation changes everything. You stop asking how and when, because those are the questions of a person who is lost. A sovereign being simply is. This quiet, still point of being is more powerful than 1,000 frantic affirmations. It is the silent command that the 3D world has no choice but to obey. The foundation of spiritual sovereignty is the unconditioned I am. This is the pure awareness that exists before you add any labels to it. Most people spend their lives saying, I am tired, I am poor, or I am unlucky. They are using the most powerful name in the universe to bind themselves to states of limitation. A sovereign creator understands that I am is the clay, and their assumptions are the mold. They are incredibly careful about what they attach to their sense of being, knowing that the subconscious mind accepts every I am statement as a literal decree. The transition to sovereignty involves cleaning the temple of your identity. You must ruthlessly remove every label that does not serve your highest vision. This is not about positive thinking. It is about ontological hygiene. You are not trying to be wealthy. You are recognizing that the I am is the source of all wealth. You are not hoping to be healthy. You are acknowledging that the I am is the life force of the universe. This is a shift from becoming to recognizing. You are revealing your true nature, not building a new one from scratch. When you speak from the unconditioned I am, your words have the weight of law. You no longer need to repeat yourself or shout to be heard. You speak with the authority of the sun, which doesn't have to argue with the darkness to make it light. The architecture of your life is built on these silent, foundational assumptions. By mastering the I am, you become the master of the world. The gap between your dream and your reality is simply the space you have allowed for labels of lack to exist. Remove the labels, and the reality is all that remains. One of the most radical realizations of sovereignty is that there is no other. The world is not something you are living in. The world is something you are projecting. Every person you meet, every circumstance you face, and every obstacle you perceive is a reflection of your own consciousness. This is the end of duality. Most manifestors still live in duality, believing they have to change the world or influence people. A sovereign being knows that they only ever have to change themselves. The world is a mirror that cannot move unless the person in front of it moves. When you realize the world is a mirror, you lose the ability to blame or feel like a victim. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, you don't break the glass. You change your expression. This realization is the ultimate freedom. It means that your success is not dependent on the economy, your boss, or your partner's mood. It is dependent entirely on your own internal state. Sovereignty is the act of taking total responsibility for the reflection. You stop begging the mirror to show you a different face, and you simply provide the different face for it to show. This pillar of sovereignty requires a high level of discipline. It is easy to manifest when things are going well, but the true master stays sovereign when the mirror is showing something unpleasant. They look at the lack or the failure and they say, I see you, but you are not my truth. You are just a memory of my old state. They refuse to react to the mirror, knowing that a reaction only anchors the old state. By staying faithful to their internal vision, they force the mirror to eventually flip and reflect the new reality. Most prayers and affirmations are actually hidden requests. They are asking a higher power or the universe for a favor. Even the phrase I manifest can imply a process of trying to convince someone or something to give you what you want. A sovereign being does not make requests. They issue decree. A decree is a statement of fact issued by an authority. When a king says it is so, he doesn't check with his advisors to see if it's possible. The statement itself makes it possible. The transition to sovereignty is the transition to the decree mindset. You stop hoping that your visualization worked, and you start knowing that your word is law. This requires a radical self-confidence that can only come from realizing your unity with the source. You are not a separate ego asking for $1 million. You are the I am declaring the abundance of its own nature. This shift in energy is palpable. The subconscious mind responds to the weight of a decree with much more speed than it does to the anxiety of a request. Practice issuing decrees in your daily life. Instead of I hope I get this job, say this position is mine by divine right. Instead of I wish I were healthy, say I am the embodiment of vitality. Feel the difference in your body when you speak from authority rather than from need. The universe doesn't hear your words, but it hears the vibration of your decree. When you speak as a master, the world responds as a servant. This is the birth of spiritual sovereignty. In the common human experience, we are trained to be reactive. We see something happen in the world and we react with joy, anger, or fear. We believe the world is the cause and we are the effect. Sovereignty is the total reversal of this relationship. A sovereign being lives as the primary cause. They decide how they are going to feel and who they are going to be, regardless of what the 3D world is showing them. They are the thermostat of their reality, not the thermometer. Living as the cause means that you are no longer at the mercy of your environment. If you wake up and the news is bad, you stay in your state of peace, because your peace is not derived from the news. If someone insults you, you stay in your state of love because your love is not dependent on their approval. You have become unfuckwithable because you have realized that your internal state is the only thing that creates your future. By staying in the cause, you dictate what the effects must be. This is the hardest part of the transition for most people because the 3D world is very loud and persuasive. It screams that you are broke, or lonely, or failing. But the Sovereign Master knows that the 3D world is just the end result of past thoughts. It is dead matter that has no power to create. The only creative power is in the now. By living as the cause in the present moment, you are writing the script for tomorrow. You stop being a character in someone else's movie and you become the director, the writer, and the lead actor of your own. We often think that we must care intensely about our manifestations to make them happen. We are a toad to burn with desire and obsess over our goals. But in the logic of sovereignty, obsession is a sign of lack. If you are obsessed, you are affirming that you don't have it. Sovereignty brings with it a state of divine indifference. This doesn't mean you don't care about your life. It means you are so certain of your power that you are not attached to the how or the when of the result. You have the calm confidence of a person who has already won. Indifference is the ultimate manifestation hack when you stop needing the thing to happen. It is finally free to happen. Need creates a repellent energy. Knowing creates a magnetic one. A sovereign being knows that they are already whole and complete. The manifestation is just extra joy. When you reach this state of non-attachment, you have reached the Sabbath. You have done the internal work, and now you can simply rest. The 3D world often delivers the result, the very moment you truly stop caring if it does. This pillar of sovereignty allows you to walk through the world with a sense of playfulness. You are no longer in a war with reality. You are playing a game that you know you have already won. This lightens the density of your consciousness, making it much easier for your assumptions to harden into fact. Divine indifference is the signature of a master. It is the realization that no thing can add to your worth, because your worth is inherent in your I am. Sovereignty is based on the ancient Hermetic principle. As above, so below. As within, so without. You must realize that your internal world is not a smaller version of reality. It is the template for reality. Your mind is the microcosm that dictates the macrocosm of the universe. Most people try to change the macrocosm directly through physical labor and manipulation. A sovereign creator knows that they only have to adjust the microcosm. When the internal blueprint is changed, the external building must follow. This understanding removes the sense of scale from manifestation. To the subconscious mind, there is no difference between manifesting a cup of coffee and manifesting $1 billion. The only size a problem has is the size you give it in your imagination. A sovereign being treats every desire with the same ease. They don't put big goals on a pedestal because they know that everything is made of the same substance, consciousness. They are the masters of the internal realm, and they know the external realm is just a shadow. When you master the microcosm, you realize that you are never waiting for anything. You are just exploring different rooms in your own mansion. Every possible reality already exists as a frequency within you. Sovereignty is the ability to tune into the frequency you desire and stay there until the world matches it. You are the radio station, the broadcaster, and the listener. The universe is just the speakers. If you don't like the music, you change the station. You don't go out and try to fix the speakers. A true sovereign does not need to shout. They do not need to perform loud affirmations or participate in frantic rituals. The higher the authority, the quieter the command. Think of a high-level executive or a king. They speak softly because they know their word will be carried out without question. The master's silence is a key component of sovereignty. It is the ability to hold your assumption in the quiet of your own heart, without the need for external validation or constant doing. The noise of constant manifestation techniques is often a sign of underlying doubt. We shout because we are afraid the universe isn't listening. But the universe is you. You are shouting at yourself. A sovereign being has reached a state of internal silence where they can simply vibrate their desire into reality. They move through the world with a quiet power that people can sense but not explain. They have stopped trying to convince their subconscious and have started simply commanding it through their presence. Silence is the space where the most powerful creations are born. When you are silent, you are not leaking your creative energy through unnecessary speech or reaction. You are keeping the heat in the alchemical chamber. This silence is not empty. It is full of the knowing that it is done. Practice the silence of authority. Instead of telling everyone about your plans, let your results speak for you. Be the secret creator who manifests miracles, while the rest of the world is still trying to figure out the rules. Manifestation often implies attuneness. The thing I want. Sovereignty is the transition to oneness. It is the realization that you and your desire are one and the same. The desire is simply the feeling of your own potential seeking expression. When you realize that there is no separation between the creator and the creation, the struggle to get vanishes. You are not attracting wealth. You are being wealth. You are not finding love. You are being love. This unity of being is the end of the law of attraction and the fulfillment of the law of assumption. You assume the state because you realize you already are the state. In potentiality, duality is the illusion that keeps us in the waiting room. Sovereignty is the awareness that the door to the kingdom is always open, and you have always been the one with the key. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Your manifestation is just the physical amen to your internal decree. When you live from unity, you feel a profound sense of peace. You are no longer competing with others or fighting with the world. You realize that everyone is you pushed out, so to bless another is to bless yourself, and to manifest for yourself is to elevate the whole. You are a sovereign cell in the body of the infinite. Your success is inevitable because you have stopped fighting against your own nature. You have come home to yourself, and the home is perfect. The final pillar of sovereignty is the realization that your power only exists in the now. Sovereignty is not something you achieve in the future. It is something you claim in the present. Most seekers are living in a delayed sovereignty, thinking they will be powerful once they have the money or the success. But the money and success are the reflections of the power you claim before they appear. You must be the master in the empty room before you can be the master in the palace. The sovereign being knows that someday is a trap. They do not wait for the 3D world to give them permission to be happy, confident, or abundant. They claim those states now, in the face of whatever the mirror is showing. This radical nowness is what collapses the time lag of manifestation. When you are fully sovereign in the present moment, you have reached the destination. The physical arrival of a manifestation is then just a formal ceremony for a fact that has already been established in your spirit. As you step into your sovereignty, remember that this is your natural state. You were born a king or queen of your own reality, but you were taught to be a subject of the 3D world. This journey is simply a process of unlearning the limitations of the ego and remembering the truth of the I am. Walk with the dignity of your divine inheritance. Speak with the authority of your sovereign word. Live in the peace of your finished work. The transition is complete. You are the source. It is done.